Welcome to Unit 3, Lecture 1. So in this lecture, we're going to be covering the following keywords: gender, race, and class. And we're going to be talking about them based on the differences between intersectionality and essentialism. So you'll be learning about what the differences are between intersectionality and essentialism and how gender, race, and class are related to those two terms. So essentialism has been used in feminism, primarily in early feminism, to talk about women as having a unified global experience. So feminism said, we are women, we are having this experience where we are not getting the rights that we need, and these are the rights that we need given to us as global women who are being oppressed. The primary initial right that they fought for was the right to vote, which was the suffrage movement, as you've seen. And you'll learn more about this as we continue, but so that initial sort of marketing strategy on the part of feminism was an essentialist one that said we are all women and we all are experiencing oppression essentially in the same way. And it resulted in the theory that all women's primary need was the right to be politically engaged and to have the right to vote. Over time, there were factions of populations of women who came to this primary voice of feminism and said, no, that is not our story. Those are not our primary needs. We are having other experiences, and this feminist voice is not taking our experience into account. And so essentially that is where we start talking about intersectionality and the role that other experiences within being a woman have to be considered when we are theorizing and when we are deciding what kind of action needs to happen for women. And in this unit, what you're reading, your different readings present different case studies that show you how coming from an intersectional perspective or how coming from an essentialist perspective really does have an effect on women's experiences. So from an intersectional perspective, the idea is that while women are united to stop oppression against women and to cause change, the message is not that all women's experience is the same, but instead that we have to look at women's experiences through a lens of class, through race, through different cultures globally. And I mean, your textbook is transnational, so obviously, as you can see, all of our readings are really focused on intersectionality, and the most current movement in feminism is very focused on this as really one of the primary necessities that feminism has to adjust to, that we no longer can be essentialist in our message. And so as you start to understand intersectionality, what you want to think about is that while women are, trying to stop oppression, how is it that class affects women? So if you're upper class or if you're lower class, how is your experience different? Or if you're black or if you're white or if you're Latina, how is your experience different? Or if you're from the United States or from another country, how is that experience going to be different? And thus, how do we need to shape policies differently? How do we need to educate differently? And those kinds of things. And that's really what your reading is focused on. So as you read or as you think back on your reading, try to think about how intersectionality or how essentialism has impacted the way that policy and the way that education has been shaped. Okay, that's all for now.